Hey, back in the day, there was a band called Manfred Mann. These days, it's Manfred Man.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, well, as cold opens go, that was like the equivalent of a dad joke on a podcast. I know, it's all right. I am a dad. I'm entitled. Welcome to another episode of Locked On A's. I'm your jovial host, Wayne Coy, lifetime Oakland A's fan, and for a long, long time, morning show host at a radio station in the East Bay that shall remain nameless, KKIQ, KKDV. Okay. Yeah, 13 years. That was a long time. And worked lots of other places around and up and down the dial. The WKRP theme song, pretty much my life. Anyway, I'm doing this now because I love it. It's kind of combining everything I'm crazy about, especially those Oakland A's. And I know you are too. So get in here. Thanks for making Locked On A's your first listen every day. We do appreciate that, of course. And if you're an everydayer, let us know that in the comments. I'm curious to see how many people actually come here every single day. I mean, I sort of already know, but let's just pretend I don't. Yeah, go ahead. I'll shout you out if you put your name down there, right down there, okay? You do that, and of course, we'll be right here and anywhere where you can find a podcast, your normal audio podcast, and then, of course, the YouTube version too. We do it all. Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. Okay, today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. I got to tell you that you can download the GameTime app. I did. Now it's your turn. Create yourself an account, use the code Locked On, and you will get $20 off of your first purchase from our friends at GameTime. Well, Rob Manfred did it today. He faced the press for the first time since the last owners meeting, I think, at the owners meetings again. Funny how that works. Getting ready for spring training, and the commissioner had lots to say about lots of things, and actually some things to say about the Oakland A's. I'll let you be the one to decide whether he actually said anything or not, but here we go. The A's, of course, trying to figure out where they're going to play in 2025. In the year 2025, if John Fisher's still alive, where will they play? That's the big question, because the lease is up at the end of 2024. So 25, 26, 27, maybe 28. It's like, who knows, right? Throw a dart at a map, and that's a potential place for the A's to play. Here's what the commish says. Quote, we need to, in the next few months, know. Really? It's hard, even scheduling, although it's clearly going to be someplace in the West. I felt like that was deserving right there after what he just said. It's clearly going to be someplace in the West. Thank you, Rob. You know, there's a difference between some places in the West and other places in the West. End quote. You can't make this up, kids. All right. Manfred did not say whether the A's would end up in Salt Lake City or Sacramento. Oh, he had something to say about the process. He said, quote, I'm comfortable with the process. They have options. I think they're doing a good job of exploring them. Yeah, okay. And making sure that we find the best possible option, end quote. You know, back when I first chose to do this podcast every day, I remember thinking, man, the way things are going off the field, there's just not going to be a lot to talk about. Boy, was I wrong. We're not talking about anything on the field, hardly at all. It's all about what's happening off the field. And this is literally like a really crappy soap opera, right? Every single day, the storyline gets a little tweak here, a little tweak there, and we still don't know what's going on. We have no renderings. We don't know anything. Okay, which is good, I guess. Where the A's are going to be playing, of course, is going to have an impact on their television revenue. We've spent quite a bit of time talking about that. The NBC Sports Bay Area, NBC Sports California. I'm not sure which of the two the A's are with, but it's like $70 million a year. And here's the thing. If they leave the Bay Area, technically they're out of the contract. NBC Sports is, and believe me, they want to be out of the contract. Okay. It's not a very good baseball team, in case you didn't know. So that's a lot of money being thrown at a not very good team. And needless to say, the viewership numbers kind of reflect that. So chance maybe to wriggle away, but not if they end up in Sacramento. The common thought is that they would renegotiate their deal because technically it has to be in the San Francisco Metro, okay? The DMA it's called. But if it's not, I mean, the games are on in Sacramento. It could be a bit of a stretch, but if they end up in Salt Lake City, you can forget about that. So what do? Well, according to the commissioner, they are looking at all their revenue streams and trying to figure out where they can maximize the revenue streams. There are differences between some of the options in terms of what the TV opportunity is. I don't want to go beyond that, which is Manfred speak for, I really don't know what the hell to say next, so I'll just stop, okay? He doesn't know. He didn't indicate whether he thinks the A's are in danger of missing their target, 2028. Remember, that's when they're supposedly going to start in Vegas, right? So we'll see, but here's what he said about that. And this is the only thing out of the entire conversation that the commissioner had with the press that really got my attention. I would be disappointed, let me say it that way, if we didn't open that stadium opening day 2028. Disappointed just in the sense I think that it's best for the A's and it's best for the game. All right. So I think if you read between the lines there, maybe Robbie is starting to get a little twitchy, just a little bit. I mean, he wants Vegas, I think, in the worst way. And I think really at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's about, BetMGM and all the other apps and, some of our good friends like FanDuel. They want to be part of baseball. Baseball, it's already happening. So MLB last to the party, right? They want to be in the city that never sleeps, the entertainment capital of the world. And, I got no beef with them being here at all. But I think the Oakland A's need to stay in Oakland. I've said that since day one. I'm not the only one saying it. As we reported yesterday on this here podcast, the mayor of Las Vegas, that would be one Carolyn Goodman. Yes, she is the wife of the former mayor. That would be, you thought I was going to say John Goodman? No, Oscar Goodman. The same guy whose name is, Oscar's place, the steakhouse. Yeah, that's the guy. Kind of a character. Well, he was a governor from, or the mayor. Sorry, did I say governor? Mayor. Mayor of Las Vegas from 1999 until 2011. And then wifey took over. And then we hear maybe the son is next. So it's almost like a royal family. Anyway, the Goodmans, 25 straight years in the mayor's office. And the word on the street, which would be Fremont Street in this case, is that she's not so happy about the A's moving here, and specifically the Tropicana site. She said as much. I personally think the A's have got to figure out a way to stay in Oakland, she said, to make their dream come true, she said. The A's really want to stay in Oakland. They want to be on the water. They have their magnificent dream, and yet they can't get it done. I know this town like the back of my hand. To come here, to take down an old hotel, put it right in the heart of the strip and have more congestion? We've got enough congestion right now. Anyway, she said that basically, I love the people from Oakland, and I think they deserve to have their team. Those are the quotes from the mayor, Carolyn Goodman. And it took about that long for those quotes to get walked back to a degree. Wasn't 100% walk back. Walk right back. It didn't happen. What did happen was, I do believe a few phone calls were made. And it was like, hey, we're trying to get a team here. Where's your spirit? Let's go. So Mayor Goodman hopped on the social medias and she added some things like, I'm excited about the prospects of Major League Baseball in Las Vegas, but she didn't back off on her whole, I think the A's belong in Oakland thing. She kind of left that there. So you read between those lines, okay? I just think it's funny how politics works, how quick, somebody's got to go clear things up. But nothing really got cleared up, which is the funny part. What did Manfred have to say about the mayor? He said, all I can say is the governor, the Clark County officials have all been wildly supportive of the A's moving to Las Vegas. Okay, wildly? Really? Manfred said, quote, I didn't really have a reaction. I mean, you never really do you? I mean, frankly, I only caught up to it after she said one thing and then she said another. So it kind of canceled each other out in my mind. Probably left out the part there where he placed a phone call to the governor. I would almost bet money that's how it went. A's to Manfred, Manfred to Lombardo, Lombardo to Goodman, Goodman to her PR people, and we have a little bit of a walk back. Walk it back, walk it back. All right, coming up next. Oh, by the way, no quotes, no nothing from the A's. Notice that? No John Fisher, no Dave Cavill. Hell, Stomper hasn't even had anything to say. So who knows what the A's think? I think they think this thing is a flaming pie. That's what they think. And if they do think that, they're right. Nevada teachers take their shot. Yes, they do. Part one of my conversation with one of the guys who's taken that shot, Alexander Marks, schools over stadiums. We'll be talking to him in just a minute. Game time. What about game time? Well, I want to tell you, I do have a history with the app. And I know you're thinking, wait a minute, you can barely turn on your computer. Hey, I'm a little more technologically inclined than you think. Game time saved my butt. I was going to go see the Raiders play the Chiefs, okay? And I've told the story before, but it's a great story. Me and my friend Tommy T, hanging out, Allegiant Stadium parking lot. We're getting ready to go to the game. I'm like, man, let's get in there. Let's go. You got the tickets, right? And he says, no, I thought you had the tickets. And I'm like, well, no, I thought you had the tickets. Anyway, long story longer, I downloaded the Game Time app and quickly started looking for tickets to that day's game because we're in the parking lot. And not only did we get them, like I want to say it was 25 minutes before kickoff, maybe a little longer. It was like half an hour, 35, somewhere in there. We got the tickets. We got to be able to see the view from our seats just on the app. You can see the actual view. And we paid a very good price, a very low price for our tickets. So all in all, happy camper, and you can be too. Check it out. You can buy tickets in seconds. Yes, you can. A couple of taps on the app, tap that app, and you got your tickets. Game Time's guarantee means you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Okay, that's on your first purchase. Terms do apply. They always have terms. I mean, nothing different there, right? Create an account, redeem the code. Let me spell it out for you. LOCKEDON. That's the code. Locked on for 20% off. Do it. Download Game Time today. Get your last minute tickets. And more importantly, you get your guaranteed lowest price. And I think that's the cool thing. So while you do that, we will hook back up with the big story in town. Another lawsuit filed, shot across the bow. Alexander Marks, last time we talked to you, we were just kind of getting started. You guys had filed this thing and then you got sued, and it's just crazy. All these months now have gone by. You're still not sure what happened with the lawsuit, and now you're suing somebody. So can you explain it all to us?
Yeah, so we'll kind of break it down into we have two parallel paths at this point. So let's start with the referendum. So we had a hearing in the district court back in November. This was the A's lawsuit against the teachers. I'm sure we all remember those headlines of A's sue teachers, and the PR hasn't gotten any better for them since. But let's start with that headline. So unfortunately, the district court didn't rule in our favor on that one. Not a whole lot of guidance from the court. So, you've heard the phrase that it was kicked out, it was tossed out, whatever. That wasn't the end. We think the court made a huge mistake. We immediately appealed to the Nevada Supreme Court. So that's been pending since November. We've all been basically trading briefs and replies and all that. So about 2 weeks ago, Schools Over Stadium submitted its final reply brief. So now the matter is just sitting in front of the Supreme Court. We are waiting for them to either rule on the previous oral arguments that we had in the district court, or they might ask us to come in and provide additional oral arguments. That's not bad news if they do. Just means either something in the record they need clarification on, or there's another avenue they want to pursue a little bit down and figure that out. But obviously a quicker decision would be beneficial for us, so we can get out there to gather signatures. But for the listeners, what will end up happening is either the court will say, yes, schools over stadiums, you are correct, the district court erred. And then we're out there gathering signatures. If they say, look, you got to fix X, Y, and Z, they'll kind of hold our hands through that process, help us develop another petition to file. And with that kind of what they'll call administrative guidance, hopefully we won't have to refile. We'll just be able to kind of make those changes with the court's assistance and then get out there and start gathering signatures. If we have to refile, obviously I think that would probably delay a little bit. And we're obviously expecting the A's to keep suing because that's what they do. They want to make sure that the public has to pay for their stadium. So I understand why they would do it. I just, at this point with the bad PR, they might as well just let us go already. But in an ideal world, very quick decision. They agree with us and say, yep, district court erred, and get out there and start gathering signatures. And, if not, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, for the listeners, we've got until late June to file these 102,000 signatures. It's only February 8th. We could have a decision tomorrow. We could have a decision next week. Plenty of time. I think if we have about a solid 2.5 to 4 months, I think we're fine. But I think 3 months is probably a good area for us to be able to say we can get out there and gather signatures. So that's where we're at with the referendum this week.
Is there like a precedence from before where somebody else has done this? So that to get that many signatures, you're going to need this much time? Because I'm sitting there going, well, they're going to run out of time, which I would think is maybe what the A's strategy is try to stretch it out so that you don't have time to go get the signatures and get on the ballot.
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of their strategy is to drag this out as long as they can. I think the court is probably mindful of the fact that this is something that we're trying to get on the ballot for November. So I don't think they want to drag it out very long. So I think they're mindful of that as well. So I don't think they're going to penalize anybody. I think they're going to try and, I don't know what the court docket looks like. We are unfortunately under their calendar. So their time frame's not our time frame.
Has it gone already longer than you thought that it would, though?
No, I think this is about where we were expecting. In terms of after November, as soon as we filed, we got some court dates, and we're expecting probably mid to late February.
Okay, so that's schools over stadiums, and then yesterday we got introduced to, or this week we got introduced to a whole another ball of wax, which is your lawsuit, which is I didn't realize it was going to go under another heading. So if you could explain that.
Yeah, I think this was just a legal strategy. We have the schools over stadiums is pursuing the ballot referendum that's currently pending before the Nevada Supreme Court. We just thought it might muddy the waters a little bit to have the exact same plaintiffs involved with the affirmative litigation, the constitutional challenge. So that's it. There's nothing really else behind it. Just to make sure that, they can't disqualify one plaintiff and the other and say that this case is moot. Our attorneys don't think it could be an issue, but just given, you got to know who you're up against. So given the fact that the powers that be want this stadium to be built, anything we can do to protect the lawsuit and also protect our referendum, we're going to go ahead and do. So we put this lawsuit under Strong Public Schools Nevada. That's a PAC we usually use during political season. It's another PAC, so it's a sister companion PAC. Both PACs are I don't think I could have said PAC more in that sentence, but
say
both
a couple more times.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Beetlejuice. A PAC's going to show up and haunt us all. The reason we're doing it under that as well, but they're sister campaigns, they're sister committees, so they exist both to ensure that public dollars are going to appropriate places. Obviously, a stadium is not an appropriate place. Strong Public Schools, for instance, is very big on the voucher campaign. So they'll there's a lot of messaging of making sure public money stays in public schools. This is right in line with that, making sure that it stays in public areas and not to corporate areas like John Fisher's pocket.
Right. I want to talk about his pocket a little bit. he's spent some money already, obviously with lobbyists, to try to go after you guys and kind of cut you off at the knees. Mm-hmm. Are you concerned that you've got a billionaire who's got all the funds in the world, seemingly, at his disposal? Maybe. But, it's David and Goliath a little bit, at least financially, because I did read somewhere where, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it said $1 million is about the number you would need to get to fund the whole referendum initiative. Yep. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct. So I think, I think we've budgeted about 750,000 to anywhere from $1.5 million. And that just depends on, if we're doing it more shoestring budget or if we actually have the funds. We're fundraising aggressively every day. Big shout out to the fans in Oakland who have just been absolutely phenomenal throughout that. Like they're just, a large portion of our funds do come from those folks, and we couldn't be any more grateful for that. Would love for some of the more institutional Oakland folks to step up, whether that's Billy Joel from Green Day or Tom Hanks or just some of the leaders in Oakland who want to keep this team there. We've been reaching out to them. We would love for them to step up as well. And, hopefully at FanFest, which we'll be at on the 24th, we're going to be doing a huge fundraising push. We're going to be out there answering all questions. We want to make sure that folks are super comfortable with us. I love when folks online are calling us grifters and all that. And it's like, look, man, we're just trying to keep the team in Oakland. We're just trying to keep $380 million in taxpayer dollars where it should. We're aligned on that. That's it. We're not trying to steal. We're just trying to make sure that both of us achieve what we're out to achieve. And honestly, I think after this week, and we can get into a little bit more detail, but between the Chamber of Commerce issue, the Mayor Goodman comments, the Manfred comments today, it's exactly what we've been saying. This thing is a house of cards ready to collapse at any moment. And now folks are like, maybe they're going back to Oakland all of a sudden. So now if they're going back to Oakland, what happens? You guys get to keep your team. We get to keep our $380 million. And then now it's a win. That's exactly what we set out to do. And, I don't know what everybody else's vibe is, but I'm reading all the newspapers going, this thing looks like it could collapse at any day for any reason. And every day is some additional bad news for this entire project in Las Vegas.
That's a good drop-off point right there. So we will stop here, but we'll pick back up in our next episode. More of our conversation. Alexander Marks, NSEA, schools over stadiums, fighting the good fight. And, of course, we're in their corner, so we'll talk some more. Coming up on Locked On A's. Just a minute away from finding out what Baseball Prospectus thinks of this team. Can they win more games than they did last year? We'll talk about that next on Locked On A's. Happy Super Bowl to you. Happy Super Bowl to you. We can say Super Bowl, by the way. Happy Super Bowl from FanDuel. Happy Super Bowl to you. Yes, FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. And if you are like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about, the snacks. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. No, it's about the snacks and it's the commercials and it's about placing bets. Yeah, even before there was a FanDuel, betting the Super Bowl was kind of a thing you did, right? Well, now you can really have fun with the player props and, of course, the overs and the unders and all those goofy prop bets that they have every Super Bowl. You're betting on the national anthem, you're betting on the coin toss, all of that stuff. Well, check it out. Get deep into it with FanDuel, a very easy app for you to download. And then, of course, once you do that, you're part of the game. The Super Bowl. Happy Super Bowl to you. It is Super Bowl 58. And you should be a big part of it with FanDuel because they certainly are. New customer, if that's you, you join today. You make a $5 bet. And if your $5 bet wins, just a money line bet now, $200 in bonus bets. That's what I'm talking about. That is yours to keep as their gift to you. FanDuel wants to welcome you to the family. Check them out. FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. And you make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Also, don't forget Locked On has launched the very first ever 24/7, 365 days a year streaming sports network. It's called Locked On Sports Today. It is way cool. And I'm going to send you over there as soon as this episode's over. Keep up with sports all around the country, not just baseball, football, basketball, hockey, all of it. We cover it. Locked On Sports Today. Again, after the episode, we'll send you over there. So if you haven't already checked it out, you can. All right. As would be expected, the Oakland A's are projected to win the World. Psych. Okay. No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to win the World Series. They're not going to win the division. They're not going to make the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, no chance. I think the odds are like 5,000 to 1 that they win the World Series. It's crazy. Anyway, they are projected by the people at Baseball Prospectus who do this for a living. They have this thing called PECOTA that comes out every year. I'd like to see the PECOTA, please. Yeah, so the PECOTA says a 15-win improvement over last season. Wow. Now, if Mark Kotsay can pull that off, that's saying something. 65 wins, actually 64.8. That's their prediction. They also predict that the Astros will win the West and have the best record and best World Series odds of any American League team, 12.1% to make the World Series. Atlanta Braves, 18.7%. LA Dodgers, 17.1%. That's not just to make the series, that's to win it. World Series favorites per the projections. 65 wins, that would be an improvement. And that would mean that they don't lose 100 games, which, as you know, they have done the last 2 years. They're trying to avoid 3 straight. If they can do that, that'd be awesome because the Philadelphia A's would like to keep their record 1920, 1921. All 3 of those years, 100 loss years for the old Philly A's. Okay, big news today. Cocoa Crisp is going to be part of Fans Fest, and you should be too. Get all your details at lastdivebar.com. What a party it's going to be. It's not being thrown by the team. It's the fans celebrating not just the A's, but Oakland sports in general. So be a part of that. Great players like Billy North and Ben Grieve. And now Cocoa Crisp is going to be there. Guy had the coolest fro this side of Oscar Gamble. And you can see it up close and personal, although it's a lot shorter these days. Anyway, hope you have a great day or night, whatever you're doing. Have an awesome okay? And thanks for spending time with us. Always appreciate it. Don't forget in our next episode, part 2 of our conversation with Alexander Marks from Schools Over Stadiums. What a story. All right. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget, you give us a thumbs up, help spread the channel. If you can do that, that'd be great. Subscribe too, so you never miss an episode. And until we get together next time, I'm Wayne Coy. You keep on swinging.